everyone. Welcome again to another episode of tax training, and today I will discuss to you about tax compliance for bloggers. Why tax compliance for bloggers? Because it's about time that we will discuss the tax compliance of bloggers, because nowadays there are so many bloggers, and what are they going to do when it comes to tax compliance? Okay, so who are bloggers? I researched on the meaning of bloggers from the internet, and bloggers is someone who runs and controls a blog. He or she shares his or her opinion on different topics for a target audience. The source is firstsiteguide.com. So a professional blogger is someone that makes their living in blogging. Whether they monetize their blog through ads, products coaching, or some other paid offering, blogging is their full-time job. I tried to look also at the definition of the tax code when it comes to this kind of work. So under the tax code, self-employed, under Section 2N of Revenue Regulation 8-2018 provides that a sole proprietor or an independent contractor is a person who reports income earned from self-employment. She or he controls who she or he works for, how the work is done, and when it is done. It includes those hired under a contract of service or job order, and professional whose income is derived purely from the practice of profession and not under an employer-employee relationship. So, blogger falls under the meaning of self-employed. Also, I researched on the professional standard occupational classification of the Philippine Statistics Authority, and it defines also professional as the workers in the major group who increase their existing stock of knowledge, apply scientific or artistic concepts and theories, teach about the foregoing in a systematic manner, or engage in any combination of these three activities. They are called professionals. Professionals' tasks usually include conducting analysis and research and developing concepts, theories and operational methods, and advising on or applying existing knowledge related to physical sciences, including mathematics, engineering and technology, and to life sciences, including the medical profession, as well as to social sciences and humanities. Teaching the theory and practice of one or more disciplines at different educational level. Teaching and educating handicapped persons. Providing various business, legal, and social services. Creating and performing works of art. Providing spiritual guidance, preparing scientific papers and reports. And these are the example of what a professional are doing. So professional under the train law, or RR 8-2018. So professional is a person formally certified by a professional body belonging to a specific profession by virtue of having completed a required examination or course of studies and or practice, whose competence can usually be measured against an established set of standards. Professional also refers to a person who engages in some art or sport for money as means of livelihood, rather than as a hobby. It includes but not limited to doctors, lawyers, engineers, architects, CPAs, professional entertainers, artists, professional athletes, directors, producers, insurance agents, insurance adjusters, management and technical consultant, bookkeeping agents, and other recipients of professional, promotional, and talent fees. So these are the sources of law that defines who are professional. So let's now go to the tax liabilities of bloggers. So as a recipient of income coming from the practice of profession or rendering of services, so what are the tax liabilities of bloggers? Section 23A states that a citizen of the Philippines residing therein is taxable on all income derived from sources within and without the Philippines. So a tax blogger is subject to income tax. Section 105, person liable to VAT. Any person who in the course of trade or business sells, barters, exchanges, leases goods or properties render services, and any person who imports goods shall be subject to the value-added tax imposed in Section 106 to 108 of the National Internal Revenue Code, or Section 116, which is percentage tax at the rate of 3%. So a tax blogger, aside from being subject to income tax, is also subject to VAT if the income does not exceed 3 million, and if below 3 million, subject to the 3% percentage tax under Section 116 of the National Internal Revenue Code. Section 108, this is the source of the liability for those who are engaged in services. Section 108, value-added tax on sale of services and use or lease of property. The phrase sale or exchange of services means the performance of all kinds of services in the Philippines for others for a fee, remuneration, or consideration. So sale or exchange of services means that you are being paid for the services that you rendered. Gross receipts means the total amount of money or its equivalent representing the contract price, compensation, service fee, rental, or royalty, including the amount charged for materials supplied with the services and deposits, and advance payments actually or constructively received during the taxable quarter for the services performed or to be performed for another person, excluding value-added tax. So how bloggers should comply with this tax obligation? So this is now the way on how to comply with tax liabilities. So first, a blogger should register in the BIR as professional. But before going to BIR, he must secure first the following: business name from DTI, and then pay the barangay permit and also pay the mayor's permit. Once he has paid all this and he has already the documents, then he has to go to the BIR and fill up Form 1901 and attach the Xerox copies of the above documents. And then pay registration fee of 500 and request for authority to print receipts and stamping of the books of accounts. Once the blogger is already registered in the BIR, he has to maintain books of accounts. And how is he going to maintain these books of accounts? If the gross income of the blogger is more than 3 million, then he has to register as VAT and maintain 6 books of accounts such as journal, ledger, cash disbursement, subsidiary sales, and subsidiary purchase book. If the gross income is below 3 million, register as non-VAT and maintain 4 books of accounts excluding subsidiary sales and purchase books. So meaning the 4 books of accounts are cash receipt, cash disbursement, journal, and ledger. And then we have the tax blogger may also maintain a loose leaf books of accounts or computerized books of accounts by applying a permit to use such books before using the same. So aside from the traditional books of accounts, which are the journal, ledger, cash receipt, and cash disbursement, and if VAT, the subsidiary sales and subsidiary purchase book, a blogger may also opt to maintain a loose leaf books of accounts or a computerized books of accounts. In this case, there is no or manual books of accounts, but before using the loose leaf and computerized books of accounts, you have to go first to the BIR and apply for permit to use. Another obligation of a blogger is to issue official receipts for income received. A VAT registered taxpayer must issue a VAT receipt for every sale transaction. The receipt issued covers advance payment of taxes because the purchaser can claim the VAT passed on by the blogger as input tax, which can be deducted from the purchaser's VAT payable. Traditional record income and expenses in the books of accounts. Official receipts issued as proof of sale of services by the blogger should be recorded in the sales book. Purchases evidenced by sales invoices or official receipt from the supplier should be recorded in the purchase book. Entries of transaction should be recorded and explained in the journal book, which is the book of original entry. File a monthly and quarterly tax returns. So, what are the monthly tax returns? The value-added tax, because value-added tax, the frequency of filing is monthly, and on the third month, quarterly. Percentage tax is monthly. Withholding tax and compensation if the blogger is an employee, also monthly. And for income tax, you have to file quarterly and once annually for the end of the year. Keep books of accounts and other accounting records for 10 years. So the obligation of a tax blogger is to keep the books of accounts and other accounting records for 10 years. The option of the taxpayer, the hard copies of the books and other accounting records can be converted into soft copies at the 5th year. Another obligation is have the books of accounts audited by CPA if income is over 3 million. So the books and other accounting records should be audited by a certified public accountant who should issue an opinion on the financial statements and result of operation of the service business of the blogger. This is what we call as the audit certificate, and this audit certificate should be attached to the financial statements and the income tax return when it is filed with the BIR. Last but not the least, obligation of a tax blogger is to prepare for tax audit. Why? Because once you have filed your income tax return, the next step after is to wait for a letter of authority that will be issued to you for a tax audit. Why? Because after the tax returns are filed, the blogger may expect the BIR to subject the tax return to tax audit. A letter of authority will be issued covering a taxable year or years. All business records, books of accounts, receipts, and invoices should be presented during the audit. Why? To ascertain your proper tax liability. The result of audit will be communicated to the blogger through an assessment notice. And if the findings of the examiner are valid, the blogger is required to pay the deficiency findings. But if the findings are not valid, then the blogger may file a protest. Okay, so that is up for today, and we will have another topic on the tax liabilities and tax compliance and how to compute the income tax of blogger in another episode. So thank you, and please subscribe, share, or like our channel. Please share to others so that they can also be guided in the filing of their income tax return. Thank you.